Hi, welcome back. So we are at the outline to discuss lists. First, let's look at the main introduction from Python perspective. Now, lists in Python are simply available. We don't need to import them, rarely need to call methods on them. We can loop over them without explicitly actually requesting any iterator object. In Python, lists should normally be used when we want to store several instances of the same type of object. Let me get back to Visual Studio Code and represent some of those ideas. Many object-oriented languages provide different data structure like queues, stacks, linked lists, array-based lists, etc. But Python does provide a special instance of some of these classes if optimizing access to huge sets of data is required. Normally, however, the list data structure can serve all these purposes at once. Now, the simplest way actually to look at creating a list, use the standard open brackets, just like so. List example here, I want to make sure that the items within this list should be of the same type. I could also create another list for strings, for example. Also, I could xlist, which is equal to a list. So I can directly call lists here, and then I can start to use certain method to actually interact with this. The most important and obvious one is to use the append. Let's look at some of those useful methods in practice. For example, we have seen this append, which of course is going to be looking to append a certain items. In this case, for example, I could append 3, and I could do or insert as many as I want. Let's try to print and see what the result of xlist. It will be a list of those items that I appended. I can also use another built-in method of list called the insert. So insert here, it requires 2 arguments in this guy. The first argument, it requires the index where you want to insert. Let's assume I'm going to insert in the first index. And then what is the value I want to insert? Let's call it 33. So in the first position, I am inserting 33. Also, I have something else called a count. Prints the frequency of a given element happens inside the list. So in this case, for example, I would choose one of those items that occurred how many times within the list. Let's choose number 3 here. So I expect in this case, the return value should be 2 because you can see here 3 happens or occurred twice as much. Also, you got the index method. So for example, if what is the index of value 5, of course, going to be 3. So 0, 1, 2, and it's the third. How about these duplicate numbers like 3, for example? Which value he's going to return is, of course, going to be 0. So he's going to return the first one occurred. In this case, you cannot guarantee the return that this value of 3, okay, it happens the first in the list in index 0, but does it mean this is a unique items only occurred? Also, you get another thing called the reverse method. Let me first of all print the xlist here, show you. It happens in the same order as been stored. Apply something called reverse on the method. Now you can see the reverse occurred. And one more last method called the sort. Just let me actually mess up some of these numbers. So I'm going to print here is the list of 3, 1, 4, 2, etc. So if I would have to use the sort, let's just try to print exactly as expected. So it sorted the list in ascending order from 1, 2, 3, 4. So now let's talk about the sorting list ideas in Python in much more details. Let's create a class here, and then I'm going to define here a class which take 2 arguments, or let's make it 3. So he's going to take a string, he's going to take a number, and he's going to take a sort value. So let's define here self.string equal to the string you pass. Self.toNumber will be equal to the number, and self.sortVal will be equal to the sortVal. Now here's what I want to show you. I'm going to override a function that comes directly with every class within the object actually class. It's a function called __LT. Now I'm using this __LT to take the self and let's take an object. Now I'm going to compare if the self dot the certain value is passed, it means it's going to be true or false. That actually identify the ID of the object. I will return here, watch carefully, the self dot number less than the object dot number. So it means I am actually returning the ascending order by number. Else I'm going to return the self dot string less than the object dot string. And finally, let's actually override this function called the REPE, make a beauty of returning exactly in the same format we want. Now, if I would have to run on this class and see what will happen, if I pass, say, for example, A, instantiate sorting idea, let us pass here A, that's a string, 4, that's a number, or 3 is a number, and let's pass here a true. Okay, and let's instantiate one more. Now let's create a list, and inside this list we'll put A, and I should here put B and B. So you get these two objects actually instantiated within the list. Now if I want to print the list, let's see the result, what it would look like. You can see now, since I override here wrapper function or method, it will print exactly in the same format that I want. Let me add a few of these guys one more. Let's see the default printing mechanism, what it's going to look like. So if I print as expected, he is going to follow the same structure as been instantiated, A with 3, B with 2, etc. Let's now try to actually activate list.sort. So we're going to sort or call sort on this list. Let's try to print one more time. Now watch carefully what happened. The sorting happens now per the integer number, because now this is a true. We pass all of them a true. So if it's a true, he's going to override this large than and is going to sorting by number instead of a string. So that's why you can see here CBA, I mean, depends on the numbers. Now the number is 1, 2, 3. If I change this one back to false, so if I run this, it's going to be ABC. So this is a very nice and powerful techniques that you can go around and try to check on your own actually to find out so many different other objects that is related to the built-in special functions like this guy. So in fact, if I would have to and reach out to the directory and print some of these functions, you can see you have this list down, which we have just overridden. You have the equal and some other functions that can be also useful. So that was all about lists. Next we'll be talking about sets. I will see you then.